of session. So Lizzie, take it away.
Thanks, Laura, and welcome everyone. I'm so excited to share Microsoft Planner in action. What you'll see today is a collection of stories, I'm going to say, that my colleagues Alyssa Hall and Jenny Allen from the capability building team use along with some supplemental team members. So know that while this isn't the demo that you're used to, this is actually how we live and breathe our tasks to help bring you the content that to the enterprise. And so with that, I'm going to just share my screen, Laura, if that's okay.
Yep, sounds good.
And I'm going to show you around our planner board. So with how we've got our planner set up, I usually access it from the web browser at the top. However, you can also have Planner accessed from Microsoft Teams, and you can do that by just going to your Teams channel and clicking on the plus, and then you will see tasks by planner. So it's not exactly the same icon, but if you're in the channel a lot, that's another way to link your tasks. And I want to really build on Paula and Susie's messaging today when we talk about the connectivity and the collaboration of the tools. One of the things I found really helpful is how integrated the tools are with each other. So as we talk about change and change management, one of the things I found as a new team member was trying to keep track of all of the projects and products I'm creating as an instructional designer for the Connect and Collaborate team. And so this really helped me, save me, organize and know who I was collaborating with on which type of project. So on the left-hand side, one of the first things that we did was we named our board. And so you'll see it's called TNT Awesome. And so it always makes me smile when I see that, because that was one of the first activities we did as a group together. And so it brings back memories and really help to build us together as a team. So as you can see, I've got the board set up, and I'm just going to go through a few of the settings before I get into the card and a few of my favorites. So at the top, you've got the different settings and applications that you can use. I am a very visual person, so while having a list is helpful in some cases, I much prefer the board view. And a little later, I'm going to come back to charts and schedule, but one of the really fun things that you can do, as well as being creative in how you name your board, is go to the three ellipses on the side and go to plan settings. And you can choose all different kinds of skins for your planner board that would really help give your team a unique identity, or just preference in colors. Again, you can change it by season, however your team feels best. So with that, I want to just tell you on about the buckets that I have here. So in backlog items, that's things that I know are coming down the pike that I have to work on. And I keep them there so I don't lose track of them. But when I am ready to work on them, I usually move them into work in progress. So in this bucket, you can see that I have a number of things that I'm working on. And then when I've worked on things and I've submitted them for review, or I'm waiting for correspondence, I put them into the waiting bucket. And one thing that I do like to do is I have a done column, and you can customize these as per your team requirements. And that when I've completed a task on a card, I usually transfer it to the done one, and I'll show you why shortly, rather than just checking it off here. I also have a column for resources, and that's where that connectivity really comes into play that Paula was talking about. to have a one-stop shop, I usually keep all of the key resources for the projects I'm working on as a separate column, so I can just go and grab it without having to go and look around. Because did you know 30% of our workday we spend looking for things? And that is a true fact from research. So use your planner board and you'll get 30% of your time back. So right now, I just want to tell you a little bit about these different colored tags that you can see here. The tags are really important again, and I'll come back up to the charts in a minute. So I tag my work based on the scenario that I'm working for you, developing content for you all. And so you can see here that I've got 4 different scenarios and some non-scenario related work. And it's really helpful to have the work tagged, both for myself, but also for people that I collaborate with. I work with a couple of supplemental team members and who are always at the table or have a full understanding of the work that's going on. And so this is really helpful to for them to understand how or where this item fits in. So I'm just going to go into this spider diagram for the collaboration scenario. You can see here that it's being tagged by Daniel. And what that means is that Daniel is assigned to that task. Now, I will just share from experience, it does cause people's heart rate to elevate somewhat when they just get tagged without having a conversation first. So usually a daily stand-up, Daniel and I will get together and say, okay, yep, I'll take that work on. Or is it a collaborative effort? Who's going to be assigned to it? So as you go through the change management that Susie was talking about, really bear that in mind that although the tools are a great way to visualize the work that's being done, having that conversation, whether in person, as Paula said, going down the hall, if you're on campus or virtually is really important. So don't think that the tool replaces that need for human connection. And so with that, you can see that I've got the title, Daniel's been assigned to it, and we've tagged it. And you can see here that I've got a number of different tags that I can do, and it's really easy to customize your tags. You just click on there on the bar there and click on the pencil. And this has been a real work in progress for us, figuring out which tags we want to use. The more tags you have, the more complicated the process becomes. So we've spent quite a lot of time refining what our tags look like. Now, earlier I did speak about the buckets, and this is where you'll see the buckets of work that I have here. So this task isn't currently in production, so it's in the backlog. When we pull it over to the in progress item, we'll also change this in progress. Now, we're not very faithful at changing this priority task. Usually, if Susie or somebody else comes to us with an urgent priority, we will use this to draw attention to the urgency of the task, but the default is medium, and we usually keep it at that. Now, one really important thing to note is the start date and the time date, end date. And again, we use these as soft start and soft end dates, but it's really important for tracking. And if you want to go back and figure out when you did a project or how long it took. We work in an agile framework, and so we try to catalog our product development by sprints. And so usually our work doesn't repeat. In this section, we use to keep each other abreast, again, communicating virtually to keep each other updated of any notes. And then he will add checklist of items to do. And I just want to show you a different card that has different attachments. Again, going back to that the efficiencies that are created with the connectivity of the tools. You can see here that I've linked an item actually from our shared files. And you can select show on card, which is really helpful when you're trying to search for those resources. And here you can see I've actually uploaded something and selected it to show on the card as well. So with that, one of the change agents actually in nursing, Holly, I'm going to give you a big shout out now. In a conversation with Holly, one of our nursing change agents, she shared with me that one of the greatest things for their team that they love the planner board for is pre-work for meetings, and they use the end date schedule to send email reminders so that everybody coming to the meeting has done their pre-work. And so know that every day it will email you and let you know that there's up and coming tasks. And then finally, two more things. One of the ways I mentioned earlier, I was a visual learner. One of the things that we do at our daily stand-ups is change to group by label. So not only that we can see the works in the bucket, but we can see the work by scenario here. And for those of you who like a little bit of eye candy and who are celebrate in organizing in a linear fashion, this makes those folks' hearts happy. So it's just a really unique way that you can organize and share your work. And again, coming back to how important that communication piece is as you continue to talk through these cards and track the progress of the work. And the final thing, two things I'd like to share with you is, first of all, the schedule. It's really helpful for a calendar view to see what's coming up or what you've been working on. And that, again, if you want to narrow that down, if you've got a big team, you can go to Assign to Me. And again, you can just see the view of what's been assigned to you. And then I'll just go back here. But if you go to Charts, you can see how many tasks you've got started, how many things you've got in progress. And when I go to that completed status, you can see that 61 items and assets have actually been created and where most of the work is being done. And you can see that who's been assigned to what. And it really creates a very clear visualization of the work that's being done. And that is something that Jenny and I are going to elaborate a little bit more on in the capability building spotlight. So with that, that is my story in action, Laura, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Lizzie. That was a great demo and a great use case of how you may utilize Microsoft Planner in your day-to-day work. I will share back our slides here. Okay, and now I will pass it over to Jenny to get us started on our capability building spotlight.
Thank you, Laura. Well, thank you, Laura, and thank you, Lizzie. And I want to say thank you to you change agents for, as always, for your attention and engagement during our spotlight today. We're excited to build upon what Paula Mankowski shared earlier in the meeting when she talked about the value of these tools and engagement and collaboration. It was interesting to hear how she's come to embrace the use of Teams and how she's utilizing SharePoint, OneDrive, and now Planner. And I did appreciate her shout out to the HR change agents because I know they've been integral in helping to make that happen. And just in general, the appreciation of all of your work throughout the institution. As a capability building team, we're committed to continue to enhance the resources available for you in using these tools, but also moving beyond the how-to. Our aim is really to foster a learning environment where you can apply and adapt your learning to accelerate efficiencies, enhance communication, and most importantly, develop community. So with that, as Lizzie shared, she and I are going to spend some time today talking about ways these tools can help you and your team, how you create an environment that's inclusive of all team members, using the collaborative tools to help foster that sense of community while increasing efficiencies and supporting productivity.